NVIDIA reportedly working on a new version of its Blackwell chips for the China market that would be compatible with U.S. export controls. This is according to the latest report out from Reuters. NVIDIA will work with one of its major distributor partners in China on the launch. This is according to that report here from Reuters. Again, you're looking at gains of just about 3%. The company also getting a couple of bullish calls out here ahead of the open on the street here, just about some of that upward movement that analysts are expecting to see with NVIDIA. But again, Maddie, this points to the fact, if in fact these reports are true, NVIDIA potentially finding this workaround here, which was viewed as maybe a bit of a challenge here to their business, not something that would be a huge hindrance, at least in terms of demand, given the magnificent demand that the company has seen here for its AI chips. But again, if this is true and they are able to launch new AI chips here in China, certainly that will be viewed as a win here by the street.
Yeah, and we should mention again that this is according to reporters, 3 unnamed sources in their reporting saying that NVIDIA is working on a version of its new flagship AI chips for the China market that would be compatible with U.S. export controls. And this continues to be an interesting topic for us to cover, given the tech moves that we did see last week following President Biden speaking about upping those export controls. But we also had former President Trump in an interview with Bloomberg News saying that he also would be pursuing some of those export controls as well. And that would potentially be a headwind for the broader chips market. And that's exactly what we saw last week in some of the big tech names. A little bit of a sell-off, certainly recovering, though, as we head into this week. You're seeing both the major indices moving to the upside, primarily driven by those big tech names. And then, of course, you've also got NVIDIA up over 3.5% in the market today.
It was a moment bound to cause a sensation across the financial and tech worlds. Elon Musk, the ever-dynamic entrepreneur, has powered on xAI's latest supercomputer, which astonishingly comprises 100,000 NVIDIA H100 AI GPUs. This $4 billion marvel is now the most powerful AI training cluster in the world, according to Musk's own words, lighting up the night at 4:20 a.m. The implications for NVIDIA, an already booming AI leader, couldn't be more thrilling. NVIDIA's stock has been making headlines for several reasons recently. The company has witnessed significant market movements, not just due to high-profile investments like Musk's, but also because of its strategic maneuvers in the Chinese market. With analysts predicting major growth and political figures such as Nancy Pelosi making substantial investments, NVIDIA is positioned in the spotlight like never before. Yet, amidst all the excitement, a question lingers. Is this the right time to invest in NVIDIA? That's what we will go through in today's video. But first, if you want to keep up with NVIDIA's latest updates and keep up with the stock market's latest news, you can follow our Twitter account. We post multiple times daily about the biggest changes and catalysts in the market, so click the follow button if you don't want to miss the newest market updates. Now, back to today's video.
John, let's start with NVIDIA. Washington's export controls have no doubt challenged the broader semiconductor sector and has resulted in fewer sales to China. CEO of NVIDIA, Jensen Huang, recently saying, quote, "Our business in China has substantially lower than the levels of the past, and it's a lot more competitive in China now because of the limitations on our technology." The company, though, seems to be trying to change that. And according to Reuters, working on a new AI chip that complies with the current export controls. The question for Wall Street is whether this will help improve its growth prospects in the country. Cowen analysts estimate NVIDIA will make less than 5% of its 2025 sales in China. Before restrictions, sales were anticipated to be around 20 to 25%. We're looking at NVIDIA stock today, bouncing back at $124 a share, up about 5%. Piper Sandler this morning raising its price target on the stock to $140. Analysts there expecting a strong earnings report when the company reports in late August. This as Wall Street awaits earnings from NXP Semiconductor. That stock also higher today. It feeds into the automotive market. And investors will look for a read through the electrical vehicle sector and whether demand is starting to improve in the back half of this year. Kelly.
Indeed.
NVIDIA's success has been resounding in terms of the stock market, grabbing the interest of investors globally. The stage for this week's excitement was set by Elon Musk's recent announcement on the Memphis supercluster, which utilizes NVIDIA's H100 GPUs. For those not keeping count, each of these GPUs runs between $30,000 and $40,000, placing Musk's investment at a staggering $4 billion. That's nearly 67% of the $6 billion his AI startup, xAI, raised in May 2024. Musk triumphantly tweeted, "Nice work by XAI team, X team, NVIDIA, and supporting companies getting Memphis supercluster training started at 4:20 a.m. local time. It's the most powerful AI training cluster in the world." Musk is also notably very well known in terms of stock market performance. In other impactful news, NVIDIA has been developing a new high-performance AI processor specifically for the Chinese market. This move sends a clear signal. NVIDIA is not stepping back from one of the largest markets for its hardware, despite the US government's restrictive measures. According to Reuters, shipments of the B20 chip and related processor technology are anticipated to begin in China by Q2 2025. NVIDIA is trying to adapt with the ongoing geopolitical tensions, but who knew they could handle it that good? On a lighter note, let's address the elephant in the room, Nancy Pelosi's recent acquisition of NVIDIA shares. According to filings, she purchased between $1 million and $5 million worth of NVIDIA stock, adding another feather to her cap of astute market predictions. But what does Pelosi's move tell about NVIDIA stock? Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Investocracy.
So for a look at top-moving stocks in today's market, Jenny Horn's with us, markets correspondent here on Schwab Network, taking a look at NVIDIA, of course, always in the headlines, and today, no different. It's working on a new chip to meet some China export restrictions. Let's hear a little bit about NVIDIA this morning. Jenny, good morning.
Good morning, Nicole. I have to say that after a blistering week for NVIDIA and the rest of the tech and chip trade last week, it's nice to see some upside today as we are up about 3.7% on the session here in real time. But following what was objectively good news for NVIDIA, because of course this massive geopolitical export overhang, I think has been a pretty major concern. I think actually for quite some time over the course of this year, it almost felt like we were very quick to forget that. Like the muscle memory of the trade of NVIDIA feels very short-lived because this has been, I think, a pretty major headwind that we've sort of been able to brush off until the last several weeks. But news today that they're working on a new version of their flagship AI chip for the China market that would be compatible with these current U.S. export controls. Now, according to two of these sources first reported by Reuters, NVIDIA will work with Inspur on the launch and distribution of that B20 chip, with shipments slated to start in the second quarter of 2025. We did also see lots of analysts that had nothing but positive things to say about NVIDIA today, as Citi did open a 30-day positive catalyst watch on shares ahead of this major conference where we could hear from, of course, their CEO as well as Meta CEO Mark Zuckerberg, that this analyst believes they'll be likely discussing the future of AI and the various ways that NVIDIA could be really seeing their ARM-based Gray CPU for servers and what that really looks like. So more context on that this analyst is looking for, and they also did say that the CEO discussions should actually shed positive light on how NVIDIA's end customers make their money or their return on equity profile, which is top of mind for many investors at this current time. So I know that we always panic when we see NVIDIA turn over, as we have, because it does feel very much like it brings down the overall market. But when you still look at the last several years, it still feels like a blip. And I know we've pulled back substantially from highs, but if you look at the long-term picture, this is still one of the best performing stocks this year, and by a huge margin.
This move by Pelosi is further proof of NVIDIA's tantalizing potential. The bullish sentiment surrounding NVIDIA extends well beyond dinners and debates in Washington. Piper Sandler's Harsh Kumar upped his one-year price target for NVIDIA from $120 to $140 per share, citing favorable business trends and the anticipated launch of the Blackwell chip platform in October. Not to be outdone, Loop Capital went even further, predicting a target of $175 per share. According to Loop Capital's analyst Ananda Barua, NVIDIA's data center segment alone could yield revenues significantly surpassing Wall Street's expectations, with forecasts ranging between $215 billion and $240 billion for 2025. Given this backdrop, the stock market enthusiasm surrounding NVIDIA seems to be based on solid ground. NVIDIA's chips dominate every corner of the tech world, powering everything from gaming consoles to cloud computing infrastructure. Furthermore, NVIDIA manages to remain critical to the future of technology, not just riding, but steering the wave of AI advancements. This brings us to the possibly underappreciated fact that NVIDIA's stock has taken a small dip recently, falling 13% over the past month. Rather than viewing this as a downturn, many savvy investors consider it a buying opportunity. Influenced partly by geopolitical issues, including potential restrictions from the Biden administration on advanced chip sales to China, NVIDIA's share price has faltered slightly. But taking a long-term view, this dip could be an attractive entry point for new investors. The slight fall even triggered a reduction in NVIDIA's price-to-earnings ratio by 13% in 30 days, potentially making shares more accessible for those looking to enter the market. The company's resilience in the face of geopolitical tension stands out. The rising strain between the US and China has sparked concerns about potential disruptions in the chip supply chain. Amid these concerns, NVIDIA's commitment to accelerating domestic manufacturing and collaborating with other tech giants demonstrates strategic foresight. New manufacturing facilities in the US, set to be operational by the decade's end, reduce NVIDIA's reliance on Taiwan and mitigate risks associated with geopolitical friction. Part of NVIDIA's allure is its ever-expanding market share in AI chips. With an estimated 70% to 90% dominance, the company is a given in conversations about the future of technology. Big names like Amazon, Alphabet, Microsoft, and Meta are all loyal NVIDIA clients. Whether they are looking to enhance cloud capabilities, AI functionalities, or infrastructure, these tech giants' dependence on NVIDIA's GPUs speaks volumes about the company's stability and growth trajectory. Moreover, NVIDIA's reach extends into the gaming world, bolstered by its exclusive partnership with Nintendo. The booming success of the Nintendo Switch has seen over 141 million units sold, making it the third best-selling game console ever. A sequel expected by March 2025 could further boost NVIDIA's revenue, sustaining investor optimism in the company's potential. So, is NVIDIA stock a good buy at the moment? Let's answer this question. But first, if you made it this far into the video, thank you. These videos take a lot of effort and time to make, so if you enjoyed them, please hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. This goes a long way in helping us grow. That said, back to the video.
Yeah, I mean, I think that the City call, with the 30-day positive catalyst watch, it almost feels like an options trade at this point, but it's at 122. It went up to 140. People were so excited at 130 and 140, only to see it sink down below 120 again. So it certainly has been volatile. Very interesting to see this call, this new price target, right? 150. These tech stocks, the question is, are they in or out? And that's sort of, and the head of Market Watch today, they even noted some stocks, I think the lead was Nvidia, Supermicro, and Broadcom, and 22 other stocks most likely to crash. No one really knows where we're going. Jenny, final thoughts?
And I think that's what's so, I think, alarming ahead of these tech earnings. And obviously, we could see fantastic results and the market could rally. I think that's obviously the bullish case at this point. But on the other hand, you have the Mag 7 that are dominating what's expected, the overall growth for the S&P's earnings and revenue. Without the Mag 7, their growth rate for earnings, at least projected this quarter in the S&P, is cut in half. So that just speaks to the magnitude in which these companies have dominated the market. NVIDIA, one day last week, shed $180 billion in market cap alone. So I always think that's concerning when so much is riding on one name, but obviously, at least to start this week, things are looking positive. Green, because naturally, NVIDIA is green.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I mean, sometimes we would look to the semis and that would drive the market. You're right. Good to see you. Jenny Horn, markets correspondent.
NVIDIA's fortunes tied so closely to the surging field of artificial intelligence and its ever-expanding presence in diverse technological sectors, there has never been a more compelling time to invest in this AI titan. The current dip in NVIDIA's stock offers a relatively affordable entry point for those bullish on its future. The company's continuous innovation, like the incoming Blackwell and Rubin GPUs, and strategic expansions in global markets, underline its potential growth prospects. NVIDIA's stock, currently experiencing a minor downturn, is not indicative of its potential. The stock has skyrocketed 170% year-to-date and is only a few leaps away from hitting a remarkable $4 trillion valuation. This reputation is cemented by significant endorsements, including substantial investments from seasoned investors like Paul Pelosi and robust forecasts from industry analysts. To be cautious, one might consider a phased investment strategy, such as dollar-cost averaging, to mitigate risks while capitalizing on immense impending growth. However, waiting on the sidelines might mean missing out on significant gains, as NVIDIA continues to dominate the AI hardware landscape. The final word? Keep a close watch on NVIDIA. It's not just a stock. It's a key player in the future of technology and AI. Do you think the rapid advancements and the company's proactive strategic moves make NVIDIA an irresistible buy? How do you view the evolving dynamics between the US and China affecting its growth? Share your thoughts and join the conversation. After all, in the fast-moving stock market, informed perspectives are the true treasures. If you would like to know what companies like NVIDIA have been up to these past few days, go ahead and click on the next video on your screen. See you there.